this, I guess, Friday edition. Coming at you from a different look, I guess, that I'm usually in. Trying to get it up on the laptop here as well so I can see comments and stuff. But signal strength out here seems to be a little bit low. I don't know what it is. But anyway, it is. Okay, we're back. I don't know what was going on with that. But anyway, seems to have had a bit of a lag there. So we switched Wi-Fi Wi-Fi methods, I guess. We're on a 5G now as opposed to whatever the normal is here. Wi-Fi here is kind of spotty. But anyway, wanted to talk a little bit about the new Tacoma versus the 3rd Gen Tacoma when it comes to toughness, I guess. You know, I've been looking, and if you saw the thumbnail for the live stream, then what I put up there was the 2024 against the 2018 Toyota Tacoma. That was a 2018 Sport in Barcelona red versus what I have right now. A little bit different truck, obviously, from options and all that kind of stuff. And when I speak about toughness, I guess, we can talk about, you know, the engine and the horsepower and the torque and all that. And of course, if you throw in that kind of thing, then the 2024 beats out the previous gen, right? In that case, the 2018 or the 3rd gen. Weren't a whole lot of changes, particularly with engine and transmission when it comes to the 3rd gen. I mean, over the years of the life of the model, I guess, still had that gutless engine, which we don't have in the 2024. Granted, it's a 4-cylinder turbo, which I know a lot of people seem to take issue with. I have nothing but good things to say about it. And I love how some of the naysayers out there, they want to pick on longevity and reliability and all of this, but they really have nothing to base what they're saying on, right? Because it hasn't been out long enough. I mean, yeah, we can philosophize, is that right? Philosophize about turbos and different vehicles and all that good stuff. But the honest truth is it hasn't been out long enough, and we honestly really don't know for sure yet. So we'll find out going down the road. Mine has been reliable so far. The only real issue I've had with the new Tacoma is that glove box looseness or rattly thing, which I easily fixed. Now, I know there's been a lot of chatter out there on the web about the transmission in the new 2024 Tacoma, that something's wrong with it. The biggest one that I heard was that somebody broke the transmission and it was a manual. And the dealer would not cover that transmission. They said it was user error or it was the owner's fault. And the other things I've heard, and keep in mind, this is speculation because I don't know the owner. I wasn't in the truck. But from what I have heard, they downshifted too much. In other words, from like 5th or 6th to 1st. You can't do that in a manual transmission, right? It's going to cause a problem. And certainly, if you're going fast enough, it could cause something to break. I mean, if you've ever seen the inside of a transmission, there's a lot of little gears and teeth and things in there, right? And those things can break. So yeah, I could see them breaking the transmission. I don't really have a problem with the dealer not covering it if it can be proven that it was user error. In other words, they did shift from a high speed down to something like 1st gear. And you know, when I hear about that, it almost sounds to me like it was somebody trying to do something, trying to get the Tacoma to break. And you know, it's big views on YouTube, particularly with the Tacoma, when you have issues. I see it all the time. There's a couple channels out there that are solely focusing on negative videos for the Toyota Tacoma, and the views are through the roof. I mean, if that's all you're shooting for are views, then that's the way to do it when you're talking about the Tacoma, right? Now, let's talk about, again, in comparing the toughness of the third gen or the previous generation Tacoma to the current one, you got to look at looks. And in that thumbnail, you can see that truck was lifted, the 2018, the Barcelona Red that I'm comparing the 2024 to. And yes, I've had both of these trucks. By the way, if you're just kicking in here, please click that subscribe button if you haven't before. Leave a thumbs up, drop a comment, let me know you're out there living, alive, and breathing. I would really appreciate it. So anyway, from a look standpoint, you know, I'm a big fan of the looks of the Tacoma anyway, particularly the third gen. And if I'm being real picky, I can't say that the fourth generation Tacoma looks better. I think it looks good. I think it might even look as good, but I really can't say it looks better. I would put them about equal. Maybe even with the third gen, just slightly, and I mean slightly, ticking above the fourth gen, right? Particularly when you lift them up. That red Tacoma, the 2018, the third gen that you see in the thumbnail, that truck was lifted. I believe that was, I think it was a 3-inch level lift, if I'm not mistaken, or 2.79, 2.78, something like that. We'll call it 3 inches. So it did have a level lift on it, which looks awesome on that truck. And it also had, in my opinion, a better wheel and tire setup on it when it comes to offset. On that truck, you can see that the tires are poking out from the wheel wells a little bit. And I am a big fan of that. I love to have some wheel poke on my trucks, right? And we certainly did get that with the setup that I have on that truck that you can see in the thumbnail. And matter of fact, the biggest mistake that I've probably made with the new Tacoma, the 2024, is that I did not go with a different wheel. I went with an OEM wheel, the TRD black wheel. And in hindsight, probably did not achieve enough offset to satisfy what I really want. And honestly, down the road, I'll probably be changing out those wheels. I'll keep the tires because I like the tires. I like the setup that it has right now, but I'll probably change the wheels out to something that's gonna give me about another 2 or 3 inches, something like that, offset. In other words, let's poke those tires out about another 2 or 3 inches, right? Because I think that would look pretty good on that truck. And it might even bring it more in line with the 2018 that you see in the picture there. But let's talk about body lines. You know, one of the biggest things I notice about the new truck as compared to the old is the body lines. William Courtney, how you doing? Thumbs up, buddy. One of the biggest things that I notice on the new truck is it's more cluttered. It's not as simple, as basic, as smooth as what the 2018 or the third generation Tacoma is. I'm a big fan of more simplistic, more of a square body kind of look, I guess, when you're talking about trucks. You know, I was watching some restore show the other day and they were refurbing it was a Ford, but man, did that truck look good. Very simplistic, nice and smooth. It was a square look to it. Really looked good to me. And I think that's something that the third generation has still over the fourth gen. It seems that, excuse me, Toyota kind of tried to jazz up the truck a little bit. They added some creases and things in the sheet metal along the sides, which by the way is a stamping. A lot of people think that Toyota somehow stuck a panel on there or something. They didn't. It's just a stamping. Brent Kramer, agree about looking good. I also wouldn't say better. It looks different. That's a good way to put it. Just still hanging on the 4-cylinder turbo engine personally. I don't know. I guess it is a personal thing. I mean, it doesn't bother me that it has a turbo 4 because it does what I want to do. And I guess that's what it should really come down to when you're buying a truck, any truck, is does it do what you want it to do? I mean, from a reliability standpoint, you know, you can honestly, from an ownership standpoint, only say that a truck is reliable if your version has proven to be reliable. In other words, I should have brought something out here to drink. In other words, if you've had the truck for a long time, had no issues with it. To me, that's a reliable truck. There's always going to be hiccups in any version of any vehicle. It doesn't matter what it is. And it all depends on the environment you're in, obviously how well it was built, how you treat it, how you maintain it. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who never change their oil, own the truck for 50,000 miles, something breaks down and they blame it on the truck and it's a reliability thing. And it's really their fault. Kind of like that example of the manual transmission brake in the new Tacoma, trying to claim that it's a model or a manufacturer fault when rumor has it, again, that they shifted from a high speed to first gear. That's their fault. That's not a manufacturer defect. Mo's Gaming, just sold my BMW today. Big question is, what did you replace it with? Hokey Doc, I love my 2018 Tacoma and 2002. Awesome trucks, nothing wrong with that. Chad Credats. Chad, you may notice, is highlighted in green right there. That's because Chad is a channel member. So a big shout out to Chad. I appreciate that. Chad says, hey, Rob, what's up? What's up, man? Been a minute. Yeah, I know. I've been traveling. Trying to fit a live stream in when I can or when it makes sense or when there's really something to talk about. That's kind of what I'm looking to do, right? Good to have you on here. And by the way, what did you have for lunch today? Did you grill out again today? Dave Sam, he's cold. Where you at, Dave? Jeff Fielder, good morning, Rob. Well, good afternoon, Jeff. It's 9 minutes after noon where I am right now. Where are you that it's still morning? So anyway, from a look standpoint, I do believe the third gen is a tougher looking truck. The fourth gen is just more, how do you want to put it? It's like they tried to design a more luxurious or luxury looking truck. It's kind of what they've done. Honestly, I hope they kind of go back a little bit. I mean, they can keep the dimensions and all that and the other styling on the truck, but honestly, there's two things they could get rid of to make the new Tacoma tougher, in my opinion. One is to get rid of that stupid spoiler on the back, that overhang off of the window, or off of the roof line, I guess. It's like they took a baseball cap and stuck it on that roof. I mean, that's really what it reminds me of. I'm not a big fan of it. Putting the sport bar on the truck kind of helped that out a little bit, got rid of it, or hit it, I guess, maybe blend it in a little bit more. And I think a roof rack on top of that might do the same thing or make it even better. Something I am looking at doing if I can find something that I like. The other thing, I guess, are those body lines. Not a huge fan of that crease in the door. Let's see, where was I? Comments, I've missed a couple here. Raymond Hayes, I love my 2017 TRD Pro. Awesome truck, no reason not to love it. And really, you know, if I wasn't looking to do mods and things to the truck, I probably would be interested in a TRD Pro because it is such a nice truck. But it doesn't make a lot of sense to me to buy a truck that's really finished, which is what the TRD Pro is, and then start adding a bunch of stuff to it, right? This doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Hokey Doc 1, 2002 has 421,000 miles, changed oil every 4,000 miles. That's great to hear. I hope we get there on the 2024. Maybe we'll be talking 10 years from now, 20 years from now, if I'm still breathing, that we've got that kind of miles and that everybody was wrong in the 2024 first year is reliable. Jeff Fielder, San Diego. So in San Diego, it is chilly today, huh? Not where I am. It's a little humid. You can probably see a little shiny here, right? I don't know. It's a little humid here. Raymond Hayes, I love my 17. I read that. Dave Sam. The only truck I've owned is an Explorer Sport Track, which I switched to a Mustang 3.7 liter. Well, that's a heck of a change. I love the Mustangs. And honestly, back in the day, I kind of liked those Ford Sport Tracks too. My ex-in-laws actually had one, and I always thought that truck was kind of neat looking. I don't know why. When I see them today, it's a different story. I'm like, that's kind of an ugly looking truck. Or SUV with a bed. I don't even know what you would, I don't know what that was classified as, but let's see. Frank AM, good morning. Enjoying your analysis of the Tacomas. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And speaking of that, if you're new here, you just got on and you haven't, please click that subscribe button. Really would appreciate it. Brent Kramer, I think they went with looking like the Tundra. I don't know. A lot of people say that. I mean, it depends on how picky you want to be in your description of a truck. I mean, if you go very broadly, all trucks look alike, right? They have a cab, they have a bed, they have bumpers, they all look alike, right? Then you start to drill down a little bit. Well, you know, the Frontier and the Tacoma, who stole whose design on the third gen as compared to the Frontier? There's been a lot of talk. I love how that's kind of died off, by the way. But there was always a lot of talk about that the Frontier in their refresh or redesign that they did a few years ago made it look more like the Tacoma. And it wouldn't surprise me if they did. I mean, why wouldn't they? When you're competing against the #1 selling mid-size truck, they're doing something right. So of course they're going to bring it a little bit closer. The Tacoma obviously has some Tundra features on it. You know, the bigger door handles, the lights, maybe the general look of the truck, some of the interior stuff. Of course it's going to have that, albeit smaller. They're going to shrink it down because it's a mid-sized truck. Makes sense to me. Or maybe one could say that the Tundra has a lot of new Tacoma looks about it, right? That there's a lot of features in that new Tundra that look like the Tacoma. I mean, who knows which came first, right? I don't know. I mean, in the grand scheme, their design phase, I don't know which one they designed first. Let's see. Brent says, wheel wells a bit square. That's, you know, it's funny you mentioned that because that's one thing I always hated about the Chevy Silverados. They always had that square wheel well. And while I don't think the new Tacoma's wheel wells are square, I do think that they're approaching that. They do have more of a rectangular, squarish, whatever look to them now than they did before, as opposed to mostly, they weren't even round before. It was like a squished circle. You know, the front was not really round. I mean, it kind of went up, sloped back. The rear, you know, they were never really round, but they were more round than they are now. So I understand what you're saying. Again, I might have to go get myself a Mountain Dew or something. Again, I don't think that that it's solely gone the way of the Silverado, but you know, let's see. Justin Gilbert, what's up, Rob? Nice seeing you again. Hope all is well. All is good. Just on a bit of not really a vacation, more like a trip, I guess we'll say. We're gonna walk in the house because I got to get myself a Mountain Dew, or I'm gonna just sit here and hack the whole time. By the way, what do you guys think of this ride? Would you trade your Toyota Tacoma for that? We might have some dogs barking here. Can you hand me my Mountain Dew? It's in the fridge. Dogs are not barking yet, but they might start. Here, I'll show you the dogs. There they are, little ankle biters. Oh, there's the wife. Hi, Krista. That's all you get from her, I guess. She doesn't have much to say. I don't know. Anyway, I've got the old Mountain Dew here now, so I'm golden. I'm good to go. Let's set you guys back up. Hopefully I haven't screwed up my little tripod-ish thing here. I don't know. Yeah, I did. It's weird, you know, the things you have to deal with when you're live streaming. I don't know. Let's see. What's up, Rob? Nice seeing you. Oh, Justin, good to see you again, too. Let me get a little sip of this stuff before I lose my voice. Now, one of the big questions that people are probably wondering, why or where is my Toyota Tacoma? Obviously, that is not a Toyota Tacoma. And what I've been driving, if you've seen some of the videos over there, is not a Toyota Tacoma either. I should have brought it. I kicked myself for not bringing it with me. I miss it. I wish it were here. I didn't bring it because, Well, primarily, I would have had to have driven it alone. And I didn't want to make a 25-hour trip or whatever by myself. I mean, how boring is that, right? And that's really the only reason why. I mean, if this had been like I don't know, a 10-hour trip or maybe even 15, I probably would have brought it. I did not leave it because I was worried about reliability or anything like that, I can tell you. Let's see, Justin, I would never trade my Taco for one of those. I'm actually having problems with my truck. Front differential won't activate during four-wheel drive. Oh, that kind of sucks. Is that the one that has 400 and some thousand miles on it, or what year is that truck? And do you still have warranty on it? Sam the Man, Puerto Rico, tuning in. I appreciate that. Thank you, Sam. How's the weather in Puerto Rico today? I would imagine it's probably pretty hot where you are. Monday left me broken. What is Tuesday gonna do to you? What is that red car? That is, I'll show you. Let's take a look at the red car while we're in here, shall we? Why not? There it is. You can tell already from the badge. It is a Lotus. I forget what version they call this. Exige. I don't know how to pronounce it. You might be able to see the name through the windshield. I don't know. CEGE. It's hard to tell. They kind of fancy up the letters to, I don't know, make it look something. Anyway, that is a Lotus Elise. The problem with this car is, or not Elise, well, it might be an Elise, I don't know. Exige, I don't know. Anyway, it's really tough to get inside. I mean, if you're trying to get in this thing, unless you're much smaller than I am, you have to overcome the ledge here and kind of fall into the seat. And imagine getting out of that thing. I mean, it is difficult to do. I have driven this car, I have ridden in this car, and I'm telling you, it is rather difficult when it comes to getting in and out of this thing. I don't know. It looks good though. I do love the looks of this car. I think it is very sharp. It's very small. Might not be much bigger than an extra large go-kart. And it's fun to drive. It moves. It is a manual transmission, by the way. Anyway, enough of that. We're not turning into the Lotus channel here. But I figured people would see it, they would ask, so there you go. The one I've been driving is the Honda Civic over here. And if you've seen my other channels, you know I am a Civic fan anyway, so I really do like driving that car. Let's check out some comments here. Where am I? Monday left me broken, I read. Dave Sam says McLaren. No, it's not a McLaren. Definitely not a McLaren. It is a Lotus. You can see right there. Definitely not a family vehicle, by the way. And let me tell you, if you have problems with the dimensions and size of the Toyota Tacoma, go drive one of those sometime, especially if you are a vertically gifted person. Big Hutch says Lotus. Yep. Justin Gilbert, 2019 Tacoma TRD off-road with 79,000 miles. This is the one I trade that white Tacoma 4-cylinder for. Randomly, the front differential stopped working, and the company thinks it's the actuator. Well, that's a bummer, and I'm assuming you don't, unless you bought extended, you don't have any warranty left or didn't have any warranty on that truck, and that sucks. What kind of money is it to fix something like that, if indeed it is the actuator? I'd be curious to know. David Sam says, wow. Justin Gilbert, I was going to do it myself at work and the Nissan dealer I work at, but I have warranty. They can take care of it, LOL. There you go. So that answers my question. And absolutely, you should have it covered under warranty. Why spend your own money and do your own work and then chance messing something else up that's going to void warranty on whatever other part that is, right? Let's see. Anthony says it's a Lotus. It is a Lotus. Justin Gilbert. Vipers are annoying to get out of too. The pipes on the side heats the panel and it'll burn the hell out of you. I have driven a Viper as well. Yes, they are difficult to get in. Any sports car is, though. I mean, sports cars are low. You kind of fall into them. You kind of fall out of them or crawl out of them. Unless you're, I don't know, the race car driver size, like 5'5", maybe 85 pounds, thin as a rail. Then I imagine it's much easier. Why do you think those not really the NASCAR drivers, but the F1 drivers are so tiny? They're so tiny, well, there's a few reasons, but they won't fit in the cars otherwise. Plus, you got to keep the weight down to gain that advantage, right? I'm sure they heavily watch what they weigh, and that would be kind of a drag. Anyway, so back to the 2024 Tacoma. Wish I'd have brought it with me. Do miss the truck. I think it would make a much better long-distance traveler than the 2018, for instance, in that picture, or the third generation Tacoma would. It's more comfortable, it's more powerful, it's a little bit higher up in the air from stock, I believe, at least that's what it seems. It seems to feel bigger, which might give you a little more confidence on the road, I think. Annie Gilo, I'm going with Gilo. And I can't even pronounce the first name, Ann Gilo. Good morning. Good morning to you as well. Manta. I have a 68 dot. Oh, wow. 68 dots in 2000 with a 5 liter, I guess. 5-speed with Jag rear end. The lowness is required. Yeah, but wait till you're a bit older, crawling in and out of that thing. Or maybe you are already. I don't know. Justin Gilbert. Well, my lunch break is over. It was nice talking to you, man. Have a good rest of your day. Justin, you too. Thanks for being on. I appreciate it. Vedic Churosya, please can you rev it? No, I'm not going to rev it. It is actually hooked up to a charger right now. I don't have the keys, and frankly, it's not my car, so it's not my car to rev, right? It does sound good, though. I'll tell you that. It does have a bit of a throaty sound to it. Definitely can't mistake it when it's going down the road. I'll tell you that. So anyway, yeah, the fourth gen, the 2024 Tacoma, in my opinion, would make a much better long distance traveler. Just more comfortable and more powerful. The biggest reasons, I guess, for me, a little bit more room, at least in the front. Definitely not in the back. And I'll put a caveat to that. It doesn't make a good long distance traveler if you're putting anyone in the back, because the new Gen Tacoma is just as small, if not smaller, in the back than the previous gen, the third gen. So unless you're hauling around an enemy or something, or you want to listen to your kids scream and yell because they're so cramped in the back, if they're bigger kids, I would take something else if you have the option. Manta says 61, no problem. Well, hands off to you. 61 years old, crawling in and out of a teeny tiny small car, low to the ground. That's good. Good for you. You must be in pretty good shape, right? As far as regrets, anything like that, I like to bring this up once in a while because people keep bringing it up on the channel. I bet you wish you'd have kept your third generation Tacoma. I bet you're regretting. When are you going to sell that and go back to the third gen? Well, the answer is no, and no. I don't regret it at all. The truck is awesome. It's been spot on for me. I wouldn't go back to a third gen because anything is wrong with the fourth gen. The fourth gen to me has been very capable for what I need it for. And that's the other thing. A lot of people like to kind of push what they want or do with the truck onto everybody else. It's not a real truck because it can't haul 10 million pounds. It's a mid-sized truck. It's not supposed to haul 10 million pounds. I'm exaggerating, of course, but a lot of people want to throw this other stuff out there at it. And it's like, that's what you do with the truck. For me, it does everything I need it to do. And honestly, it doesn't matter if it doesn't do the things you want it to do, right? So no regrets for me. Love the truck. Probably the only real issue I have is that now, since, yeah, at least it seems from what people are reporting, you're able to get some money off of the new Tacoma. Anywhere from, I don't know, $2,000, I've heard as high as $5,000 off. That would mean that I overpaid. I don't believe that I overpaid before when I first bought the truck, but now that people are reporting getting that kind of money off the 2024, I overpaid, obviously. I should have waited apparently another 6 months, and I know this, and gotten some money off. I did not pay above sticker on the truck, so it's not like I was one of those that paid a premium or anything like that. But I know there were people that did do that. Could you imagine being one of those people that paid like an extra 10? I heard as high as $20,000 above sticker to be one of the first ones to have the Toyota Tacoma. Can you imagine the buyer's remorse they must have now? I mean, they're discounting them $3 to $5 grand, and you paid 10 to 20 grand over sticker to get it. The dealer loves you. Let me tell you, they're probably sending cards to that person or people every day thanking them for their purchase, right? Let's see. Ben Kern, have you owned an MR2? No, I have never owned an MR2. I used to like the MR2, but these days looking at it, not so much, but no, I never have. Ann, have you adjusted the exhaust on your new Taco? And if not, are you planning on it? I miss having a truck so much, excited to get in one, hoping they get an incentive up here sometime. I assume you mean, have I changed the exhaust? And the answer is no, nor do I plan to. It's a 4-cylinder. And in my experience, you're not gonna get anything that sounds any good out of a 4-cylinder. You're not gonna get a Mustang GT V8 sound out of a 4-cylinder. You're not gonna get a Toyota Tundra V8 TRD exhaust note out of a 4-cylinder Tacoma. It's just not gonna happen. So it's a waste of money. What you are gonna get, not sponsored. What you are gonna get is a very tinny, high-pitched, droney, annoying sound. That's what you're gonna get. So I would suggest you not try to do that. And if that's important to you, and you wanna have that throaty sound, even the 6-cylinder, I never got much out of. I had a TRD exhaust on a 6-cylinder, and honestly, I really couldn't tell much difference between it and just the stock exhaust. Again, because it's a 6-cylinder and you just don't have anything to bring out the voice, right? Speaking of bringing out, if you're just kicking in and you haven't already, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. I really would appreciate it. A thumbs up would be nice too, just saying. Aiming to game. Have you ever wondered how far you can stretch your, see, now we have a child on here. We're gonna, you know what you do with children, right? You put them in timeout. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put them in timeout. I don't know, some people can't help it. I don't know what it is. The only thing I can think is that people like that must be like 10 to 12 years old, something like that. Because what adult puts a comment out there like that? I don't know. I'm sure you all saw it, so. Mr. Zero, Ricer B sound. Yeah, you get that kind of, it's annoying, especially on a truck. I mean, who wants to hear that on a truck? If you're gonna have sound added to a truck, you wanna have something beefy and aggressive and throaty, right? You don't wanna, as you're going down the road. I mean, it's crazy. Cole M says, is the second Gen Tacoma better than the third? Well, it depends. Depends on what you mean by better. There are so many different categories to look at trucks. Does it look better? Is it more reliable? Is it more capable? Is it cheaper? Does it last longer? I mean, that's, it kind of depends on what you're talking about. I love the look of the second gen. I also love the look of the third gen. Would I say they're better? I don't know, half a dozen, one or the other, whatever, you know. You can't really say that, I don't think. They're both great looking trucks. They're both capable trucks. They're both reliable and last a long time. Jim Cass, sweet ride, bro. Not mine. That is a Lotus Exige. I can never pronounce that. EXIGE or something like that. Ben Kern, I wish they would sell the Land Cruiser 700 series in the States. I'm not a big Land Cruiser fan, so you might as well be speaking Latin. I don't even know what that is. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to do a quick Google so I can be an expert in 3 seconds. I don't even know what that is. Not a big Land Cruiser fan to begin with, although the newer ones they have out are definitely better looking than what we've had in the past, I think. Excuse me. Cole M. I'd say your personal opinion, truly. They are both basically the same, just aesthetically the same. I'd say your personal opinion, truthfully, they're both basically the same, just aesthetically the same. They're not exactly the same. The second and third gen are different. There's different options, obviously different look to the truck. I think the third gen is kind of the sweet spot. I think it was the natural progression on the toughness quotient when it comes to the Toyota Tacoma. I think the third gen really hit that. But I love the first and second gens as well. It's just, it was a little bit more aggressive or tougher look, I think, in the evolution of the Tacoma. Let's see. Jim Cass says, still sweet, notice the Lotus. It is a sweet car. I mean, if you're into sports cars, very nice car, fun to drive, will get your blood pressure going if you really get on it, you know. Let's see. And we're gonna have to get rid of, you know, I will also you know, get people or put people in timeout based on what I consider to be offensive screen names. That person, we all know what you're going for there. I think it's low class, and you're out of here, man. It's the way it is. Cole M, note the same, not the same aesthetically. No, it's not. I think maybe that's what you meant to say, but you didn't. I don't know. Cole says, the new ones have a weird body line in the bed. It looks like a dent. In the bed, I've not noticed any weird body line in the bed. I've noticed a weird, I don't know if it's weird, a different indentation along the side, primarily in the doors. I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about when you're talking about in the bed. Elizardo says, yo, what's up, Rob? TGIF, everyone. That's right. It is Friday, right? I never know what day it is, right? How you doing, Elizardo? Good to have you here. Justin Stevenson. I plan on keeping my 2014 TRD Sport Tacoma 4.0 6-speed manual. I like the looks of the new Tacoma, but not big on the 4-cylinder engine. It's the most common complaint that I'm hearing now. After everybody, you know, has gotten over the pricing and, you know, you can now get a little bit of money off and everything. Everybody's ditching pricing is using the reason to dog the new Tacoma. And it's all about the 4-cylinder turbo now. Not that it wasn't before, but it's much more prevalent now, I think, than it was before. So, the only Ben Baker. Yo, I'm subscribing off the Lotus. Yo, I'm subscribing off the Lotus. I assume you mean you're subscribing to the channel because of the Lotus? I'm not sure what you mean there, but hey, if you click that subscribe button, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And anybody else who wants to click the subscribe button, you have my permission. Please go ahead and do that. I would appreciate it. Let's see. The only Ben Baker says Lotus Elise. It's an Exige. Exige, I think that's a submodel of the Elise. I think you're right. I've always called it the Lotus Elise until I looked at the seat and it says Exige or Exige or however you pronounce it. I don't know. Cole M says, like back bed quarter panel. I'm not sure what you're talking about, man. The only Ben Baker. Very rare to see Lotus, but to me, they are the best. Have you driven one? You ever driven one of these things? Mario Navarrete. Saw a new 2024 TRD Pro in the Terra color the other day in town. Man, what a great looking truck. It's a shame they are pushing 70K now. Yeah, they have really raised the price on that, on the Pro. It's nuts to me. If I'm going to pay $70,000 for something, maybe I'm going to buy something like that. Used, of course. But I'm not paying $70,000. I'm not paying $60,000. I've mentioned on the channel numerous times, my threshold is 50 grand. I'm not paying over 50 grand for a mid-sized truck. And it doesn't have anything to do with ability to pay or finances or any of that. It's about the value that you get out of the truck. And to me, there is not enough value in a mid-sized truck, and I don't care what it is, Tacoma, Ford, Frontier, Chevy, I don't care what it is. There's not enough value in a mid-sized truck to pay over 50 grand. I think that is just absurd. I think it's absurd. Let's see. Amos Friedley. Just randomly came across this. I'm a car guy. What am I watching, please? This channel is all about trucks, specifically the Toyota Tacoma. I do throw in other things. I mean, obviously, you can see a Lotus sitting back there right now. It's not mine. I have driven it, so I can speak on it a little bit, but that's not the thrust of the channel. I do have two other channels. We're really only one now. It's called RobMotive Plus. Where there are some cars and Jeeps and things like that. Right now, I'm kind of focusing on the Tesla over there. I do have a Tesla, I know. What? You have a Tesla? You traitor, what's wrong with you? I like the car, and it's on a different channel. So anyway, you can check that out if you're interested. Let's see. The only Ben Baker says, yes, subscribed. LOL. Ben, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I really do. TM says supply and demand will dictate the prices of these trucks. If no one will pay 70 grand, then they will have to adjust prices accordingly, or they will reduce production and only sell the units that they can sell at that price. They don't have to adjust the price. I mean, their sweet spot on the Tacoma is not the TRD Pro. It's probably the TRD line below that, or even the SR5. I would guess the sweet spot for the Tacoma is probably the SR5. Less money, still nicely equipped, still good looking truck, and it's very moddable to do the things that you want to it or not. That's my guess. I'm curious if anybody knows that. What is the sweet spot? What model of the Toyota Tacoma is the best selling? I need to look that up myself because honestly, I really don't know. Amos Friedley, thank you. You're welcome. The only Ben Baker. No, I haven't. I've heard they're a ton of fun. Not the most powerful, but because of the build and handling, they're a ton of fun. No need for the power. That's true. They handle like they're on a rail. I mean, particularly this one. This one is very basic inside. It's almost set up for racing, and maybe it is, I don't know, but it's very utilitarian on the inside, and you can tell when you're he says, what's your opinion on the Jaguar F-Type S? I know nothing about it, so I have no opinion. I have driven, I think it was an F-Type, I'm not sure, convertible. Fun car to drive. I'm not sure if that's the one you're talking about. I really don't know much about Jaguars, but I have driven one, and it was fun. It's a fun car to drive. Undertow. Ooh, look at that Lotus. Delicious. That's right. If a car can be tasty, this one right there, that is pretty tasty, I must say. Really nice looking car, man. Amos Friedley, Tesla, what? That's an EV. I know, right? I love it. I love that car. That Tesla is probably, it's in my top probably 3 favorite cars, favorite vehicles of all time. If you've never driven one, you owe it to yourself, whether you hate them or not, I don't care. You need to go drive one, spend some time in one. Particularly the Tesla. I mean, it's just amazing to me. But You know, we all like what we like. Raw Oz, IMAX. IMAX. TM, the base price of these trucks aren't too crazy, all things considered. The optional packages is what really jacks up the price. Oh yeah, it's all about packages. And that's what Toyota has gone to now, it seems, in their pricing scheme. They add all this stuff to it. They do it at port, they do it at the factory, they do it at the dealer. They're making, I think last I heard, do you know, let's see in the comments, do you have any idea what the percentage of profit dealerships make on added parts, added options, things that they add to it? Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. What percentage do you think they make or increase the price of an option that they add to your truck? Let's see, Big Lift M, Tesla, the sissy hamburger. Your opinion, brother. Amos says, sorry, bub, I'm out, no EV. It's your prerogative, man. You're not a prisoner here. I mean, I'm not making you be here, right? And you don't have to tell me if you're leaving. Just don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out, you know? Big Lift says EV sucks, no EV ever. Big Lift, I might have to cut you loose. You know, and let me tell you, if a creator cuts you loose, it's like the biggest insult you can get, because we all want people on the channel, right? We want people in the comments. But if a subscriber, I mean a creator cuts you loose, you're pretty bad. You know, it's like the biggest slam you can have. It's like a customer coming to your store to buy something from you, and you tell them to put their money back in their wallet and kick them out of the shop. It's really the same thing. So you're getting close. I don't know. It's easy to do. I mean, I can do it real quick if you want. Just say yes, and I'll do it for you. TM says, love Teslas, I'll subscribe. TM, I appreciate that. Thank you. Again, it's called RobMotive Plus, a different channel. And right now it's all about the Tesla. Let's see. A name I certainly can't pronounce says, what is that car? That is a Lotus. Gary Morgan, I have a 2020 TRD Sport Tacoma 4x4. I love it. Are you completely satisfied with the trim and options you got on your new Tacoma? Or do you wish you would have gotten anything different, such as a hybrid? A hybrid, yeah, I'd love to have the hybrid, because I would love to have, first of all, Amos, are you talking to me or are you talking to somebody else? Just let me know. Anyway, I would love to have the hybrid. I would love to have the power that it has. It's more powerful than what I've got in the 4-cylinder turbo. That would be cool. But I'm not willing to pay the money for it. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, I'm not paying over 50 grand. So no, they've priced me out of the market when it comes to what I'm willing to spend, because of the value that I think you get out of any mid-sized truck, whether it's a hybrid or not, I don't care. You know, no, I don't really miss anything. I'll tell you, the only things that it doesn't have that my other trucks have had that really are of any consequence, I think, is the power rear slider. I don't have a rear slider, but I never used it, so I don't care. Electric seats. I set the seat where I want it, and then I leave it go. That's it. I don't adjust it. You know, it's not like every time I get in the truck, I'm, you know, adjusting those seats or anything. I kind of leave them alone. So there's no reason I need those either. I don't miss that. In the rear, the cubbies were nice to have. They've gotten rid of the cubbies altogether unless you buy them in a package. I don't miss those at all. So the things that my truck does not have versus what I have now, I don't miss at all. That's kind of a long-winded answer to your question. I'm perfectly happy with the truck. There's really nothing I would change, I guess. It'd be nice to have that bigger screen, I suppose. That'd be kind of cool. But otherwise, no, there's really nothing else that I'm missing in the truck. But that's a personal thing. You know, electric seats might be very important to you. That rear slider might be something that you've got to have, you know, so keep that in mind when you're looking, right? Moto and trucks. You should do a series of you test driving the other mid-sized trucks. I really want to see what you think of the Frontier Pro 4X. You know, I'd like to do that, but unfortunately, you know, it's difficult to go into a dealership with a camera and tell them that you want to test drive their truck. You're not buying one. You want to test drive their truck for a video. Now, if you're big enough, you know, some dealers will let you do that for publicity for themselves, for the dealership. And I'm open to that. You know, I mean, I would publicize any dealership that was willing to let me come in and drive the truck. But they've got to keep in mind that I'm going to give my honest opinion of that truck. And it may not be good. And that may not reflect the way you want it to do when it comes to sales, right? So, I don't know, man. A little bit of the green nectar. Still not sponsored, by the way, just saying. Sarah Rose says hi. Hi, Sarah. How you doing? Anessa, I'm going with Anessa Zerlo. Anessa Zerlo. Apologize if I've gotten it wrong. Says hi. How you doing? Cadillac fan says, what's up, Rob? Anessa says, cool car. Well, thank you. It's not my car. Sarah Rose says, good. Good to hear. Dalton Maddox, who's Team Chevy Colorado? Colorado, Chevy's got a nice looking truck, man. The Colorado ZR2, I'll tell you what, if I was not a Tacoma guy, and I didn't have a YouTube channel, and I only bought trucks to, I don't know, drive around in, not necessarily to do anything to, no mods, things like that. That ZR2 is a nice looking truck, man. I would like to have that. Let's see, I'm losing my spot. I got to switch down here to the laptop so I can see what people are saying. What do you do for a living? I am a full-time content creator for Google at the moment. Let's see. Cadillac fan says, is that an Elise? It is an Exige, which is an Elise, I believe. I think that's just like a submodel of the Elise. Anessa says, cool car, Rob. Thank you. It's not mine. Can I sing? No. Anessa says, are you a Tetchet? I don't know what a Tetchet is. Cadillac fan says, I love the Chevy Colorado and GMC Canyon. They are both nice trucks. I've done some lot walks on those recently on the channel. So if you want to see the latest and greatest out there, or at least what the dealership has in my area, check those out there on the channel. By the way, if you're here and you haven't yet, please click that subscribe button. I really would appreciate it. A thumbs up is always nice too. Cadillac fan. The Colorado and Canyons are mini Silverados and Sierras. I would agree. The same as people say, wow, the Tacoma is a mini Tundra. Okay. Let's see. Anessa says, cool car, where you get it? That car is not mine. So I didn't get it. I didn't get it anywhere. It's actually somebody else's car. So it is not mine. Let's see here. Where was I? Exige, E-X-I-G-E. Right, that's what that Lotus is behind me. Nanny Sammy, do you have a Looney Tunes car? I do not. Ann Gilo. By the way, I just noticed, where is my head? Ann is a channel member. That's why her name is in green. And I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And by the way, if you have a YouTube channel or some other social media presence that you want to publicize, please go ahead and list it in the comments section. And anybody who's on here, check her out if you would. Ann says, ZR2s are nice indeed, but I did see a 4th gen Tacoma here yesterday. I pulled up alongside him and gave him in the truck a loving gaze. Tacomas just look so good, in my opinion. They're an awesome looking truck. I mean, I've always said that in the mid-size truck market, I think it's still so today, or still true, the Toyota Tacoma reigns supreme. There is no better looking truck than the Tacoma. Whether you have a 3rd gen, a 1st gen, a 4th gen, whatever, they're still the best looking truck on the road. But the, you know, the Chevy, the ZR2, and the Canyons, they're right up there. They're pretty good. I wouldn't go with a Canyon. There's too much chrome and junk on the inside for me. They're too refined. Excuse me, I want something a little more rough, a little more aggressive, I guess. So it's not something I would go with, but they're still nice looking trucks. Cadillac fan says you can't sleep on the Z71 Colorado and Z71 Canyon or the 4x4 Colorado and the 4x4 Canyon. You can't sleep on. I don't know if you mean that literally or figuratively. Dalton Maddox, definitely, but I own a 2016 Z71 with 300,000 miles, and I love the body style over the Tacoma. It's a personal preference thing. I mean, some people like Volkswagen Beetles. I wouldn't buy one, but, you know, personal preference, man. Cadillac fan, with the 3rd gen, there is a Trail Boss Colorado and an AT4 Colorado. I did see a Trail Boss. I think I've got 1 or 2 of them in the lot walk videos that I did. Not a bad truck. For me, if you're going with a Colorado, that ZR2 trim line or level or model, whatever you want to call it, would be where to go. I mean, it's an awesome looking truck. I don't know if you can find them. I actually did see one. I think somewhere in the neighborhood here, somebody has a red one, and man, it is striking in person. Dalton and the Midnight Edition, all black, I assume. Dalton says, it's got a silly look on the front, but I love how it drives, and the size is just perfect. That's cool. I need to drive one. I drove, the only Chevy I think I've ever driven in truck form was an S10, a Chevy S10. That's way old, right? And then they stopped making them, and now they have the Colorado, and then GMC has the Canyon. The S10 was a dog. I mean, it was slow, it was gutless, it was a POS, man. Miles says, you from the RGV, bro? Not originally, but yes. Cadillac fan says, I tend to like the larger 1500 style trucks like the Silverado, Sierra, Tundra, Titan, and Ram 1500. I do too. I like all trucks, but you know, they're so big. And for someone like me, I don't really have a need for a full-size truck. You know, a mid-size truck, and they're not so mid-size anymore. It's funny, I was at the Lowe's yesterday or day before, and we came out and parked right in front of the car was an old Tundra, in really good shape, by the way. And when I first saw it, I thought it was a Tacoma, because they used to be much smaller, or the Tacomas used to be much smaller. And my Tacoma is almost as big, I mean, marginally smaller than what these old Tundras were. So they've definitely increased the size of those trucks, for sure, man. Let's see. Cadillac fan says, 1st or 2nd gen S10. I have no idea. It's been a long time ago, man. Dalton says S10s are sweet and slow. My dad had one in the 90s with all the ground effects. Yeah, they were dogs. They really were. Nanner Sammy. Why are you skipping me? I'm not skipping you. You're doing something on your end. I don't know what to tell you. Fred Sausage says 2015 Taco with the 4.0 is probably more tough than the 3rd or 4th gen. In appearance, I would say you're probably right. From a reliability or engine standpoint, we really don't know. We really don't know. Miles says, I have a 1995 Tacoma 4-wheel drive, 227,000 miles. I really want a 2015 Peak Tacoma with the 2.7. Wow, I'd probably keep the 95. Maybe you're planning on keeping both, I don't know. Cadillac fan says, I love the S10. The Chevy S10 and GMC S15 Sonoma, I forgot about the Sonomas, have so much potential, and they are very easy to fix. You can easily build them up. I don't know, I've never worked on one. I mean, when I had my S10 and Ford Ranger way back in the day, I really wasn't into doing anything like that. So I don't know, I really can't say. Carl or Ariaza, I'm going with. I love my 2019 Tacoma off-road. Awesome, nothing wrong with that. Leigh Johnston. Hello, everyone from Australia. Awesome. Australia. What time is it in Australia? It's got to be like, what, 1 o'clock in the morning or something? I mean, what time is it in Australia? And thanks for joining. I appreciate that. PRR Sean says, hard to beat the Toyota's reliability. Yeah, you know, and it's funny because as soon as the new truck came out, the haters out there jumped all over that. It's not reliable. It's not going to last a long time. The turbo's going to burn up. What about the Toyota reliability? Do you think they just said, to hell with it. We're not going to make a reliable truck anymore. What our whole reputation is built on. We're going to put some POS out there that's only going to last 50,000 miles and make more money. I really doubt that's what they did, but that's what the detractors would have you believe. Cadillac fan says S10s and S15s are very common in drag racing. My grandpa had two built up, one S10 and S15. The S10 had a 454 and the S15 had a 427. Ran pretty great times, I bet. And probably pop wheelies off the line, right? Nanner says hello from Boonville. Hello. Leah says 2:27 a.m. mate. I was a little bit off. Well, I appreciate you joining. It is Saturday morning there, so did you have a late night of celebration at the end of the week? Were you out partying last night, or why are you up so early? Or maybe you're working, I don't know. Miles, have you had any experience with pre-Tacoma trucks? I have a 29 or a 94 22 RE. I have not. The first Tacoma I had was a second gen way back in the day. And if you saw the banner that I had up for a while on the channel, it had a picture of that truck on it. That's the second gen I had. And actually, I think I had a black second gen as well. Leigh Johnston says, in Australia. Yep, I get it. Be the miracle. Are we just talking Yoda trucks? I have an 015 or a 2005 Dodge Magnum with 318,000 miles on it. Still rolling steady. I love Toyota, but Mopar got me too, LOL. We can talk about whatever you want. I mean, it doesn't matter to me. You don't have to specifically talk about Tacomas to be on here, for sure. I love Mopar stuff. I've had several Mopars in the past. Cadillac fan, everyone hates on Lotus, but Lotus is amazing and has very prestigious racing history. Well, look at it. Look at that thing. Look at that thing. How can you not like that? I mean, if you like sports cars or race cars or just cars that are smoking hot, how can you not like that? I mean, look at that thing. It's just awesome. Is it the fastest car in the world? No. Is it the most nimble? Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but they are awesome for sure. Nanner Sammy, my friend says hello from Neighborville. Well, you tell your friend I said howdy. Leigh Johnson, I'm working on my Holden Commodore. I don't even know what that is. That must be some Australian something. I don't know what a Holden Commodore is. I'm only guessing it's some vehicle in Australia. It could be a clothes washing machine for all I know. Or maybe it's a cigar humidifier, a humidor. What is a Holden Commodore? I'd be curious to know. I've never heard of it, to be honest with you. Cadillac fan says the Exige is supposed to be very nimble. Is the Exige or Exige S or just an Exige? I cannot pronounce that. I don't know. It's not my car. I don't know what flavor it is. I couldn't tell you. I really don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna let's see. Cadillac fan says the Holden Commodore is the Australian version of the Chevy SS sedan. There you go. I've been educated. Not familiar with what cars are available in Australia or any other country, if I'm being honest. It's hard enough to keep track of all of the different models and things that we have here in the U.S., right? Anyway, but on here over an hour, it's time for me to bid you all a farewell. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Don't forget, if you haven't, please click that subscribe button. I really would appreciate it. Check out the channels. Again, you're on RobMotive, so I assume I assume you know where you are. And I also have another, it's called RobMotive Plus, currently focusing on the Tesla Model 3. Only the Holden Commodore is even cooler. I got you, an even cooler version of the Chevy. I'll have to look it up. I'm not familiar with it. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you all. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time on the web. Bye.